Maths.
Shh, no one will get your joke, because I'm the doctor.
Oh, so, inequalities. Yeah.
Greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, and less than and equal to. Pretty familiar.
Yep. Crocodiles.
Indeed.
That's the way I like to remember them. The way the crocodile faces, it likes to eat the bigger fish. So in Wayne's first example, X is the bigger fish. Second example, Y is the bigger fish. The other one must be the smaller fish.
And if it's equal to, make like a little equals diagonally, I guess.
Under the crog's mouth.
Crog works just as well as croc.
Yeah.
So now let's get on to some actual stuff, because this should be familiar.
Yeah, GCSE assumed knowledge. So the entire inequalities chapter splits up in the middle into two parts: linear and quadratic inequalities. So let's start with linear. Like linear graphs, it's to do with straight lines,
which take the form y equals mx plus c.
Yeah,
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed, so we'll grab one of them.
Yep, so in this case m is minus 3, so it's minus 3x. You've got some sort of plus c.
And
over this side would be what is y.
Yeah.
But you actually have a value, otherwise you'd have two things to work out.
So now I've got that. We can sort of treat the middle like an equal sign to start with.
Yeah, so minus 3x is greater than or equal to, and as if it's an equal sign, just take the 10 over, you're going to get minus 6.
You are. Now, this is when it gets a bit more frisky.
Yes, because to get to the next bit, if this was an equal sign, or indeed, even though it isn't an equal sign, you divide this side by minus 3.
Yeah, but when you divide by minuses, crocodiles get a little baffled.
And they swap sides.
They do, they just flip.
So it's minus 6 divided by minus 3 is 2. So you do the same thing, but the sign flips, and that's the same if you times by a negative number as well. If it's negative, sign flips, and that's the really hard bit.
And that's why you have to remember linear graphs, so they're pretty simple. Less simple are their quadratic friends.
Yeah.
So, I'll write the title.
So, quadratics, x squared plus bx plus c.
Yep.
But with inequalities.
Alright, so if we have one,
X squared plus 3x minus 4 is greater than or equal to 0.
Alright, so the first thing I want to know is how many values of x will we have?
Yeah, because you don't want to try and factorise it for ages and think, oh wait a minute, it doesn't. You want to use the
Something about northerners.
Don't discriminate.
That was it! It was the discriminant.
Discriminant.
There we go.
B squared minus 4ac.
So?
9 plus 16.
Positive.
25.
So
2 roots.
that means it can be factorised, so let's crack on with that.
X minus 1 and x plus 4.
Yep.
Yes, 4.
Yes.
It's late.
So, as you can see, if you expand that, you just get that. It's all within saucy. However,
So x equals 1 or x equals minus 4, right?
it gets a bit more complicated in that way, and that's not actually right.
Oh, because it's not equals.
No. Oh no. Inequalities, you have to talk about regions. So that's what the inequality actually means. It's when is y taking the value that is greater than 0.
I think the best way to do it is just to draw it, Triv.
I think it is. So if we draw a standard positive quadratic.
Yes, because this isn't
Smiley
negative, it
face.
has to be smiley. You draw it like that might not be quite right.
No, but this is the general gist. And you want to know basically when it's above this x-axis.
Yes, so when is it greater than or equal to 0 in the y? So that's going to be
That
all of
area.
This
And that
all of
area.
This.
So what does that mean with our x values?
Well, these two x values I've got that I've put equals is actually these 2 points here
Yeah.
of intersection with the x-axis.
And you want to describe these two areas. So to describe the lowest area, which would be our x equals minus 4.
You want x equals less than or equal to minus 4, because you want all of this
All
is
of
going
that.
to be less than minus 4.
And equally, on the other side, you want to
Or-
have x is greater than or equal to r1.
And that's
that's
the part that's hard. If we drop another example,
Yeah, if we
or if we see the
Yeah.
same example,
and we just
maybe.
flipped the inequality,
So the question was less than or equal to 0.
then we'd no longer be talking about these bits on the other side.
We'd in fact be talking about this bit here.
You're already there.
Oh, I did it in blue, sorry.
But about to.
Oh, there you go. Their x values are still going to be the same, these points of intersection.
Except it'll be between them.
So what does that mean, Triv?
Well, between them it has to be more than the bottom one and less than the other one. Then you can put the x in the middle.
You can indeed. So x is here, and it's
Yeah.
going to be greater than or equal to the lowest value,
Yeah.
which is -4, but less than and equal to 1, which is the greater value.
And that will show the middle bit. And that's what you've got to remember with the quadratics.
And that's as hard as it gets.
And that pretty much sums up inequalities.
Yes, so now let's do a test yourself.
So we can start using it.
Yeah?
Alright, let's crack on. Question time.
We have Test Yourself, page 77, question 3 from this book.
Absolutely. So, yeah, we chose this one because it uses both types of inequalities. So, here we go.
So 3A is a linear one.
It is, and it says 5 lots of open bracket y plus 5 close bracket is less than 7 minus 3 lots of open bracket y plus 2 close bracket.
Plus 2. Alright.
So, yeah, this one's quite exciting. I think different colour, yeah, blue,
Yeah.
like it. So I think first step should be expanding brackets. So 5y plus 25 is less than 7 minus 3y minus 6. So, if we try and get y over one side, I think I'll pull those y's over this side.
I would, but first I'm just going to do the intermediate step. I'm going to
Alright.
make this all a bit simpler. You've got 7 minus 6,
So it's
which
just
is
1 minus 3y. So then we can start mushing stuff over.
This isn't timesing or dividing by a minus.
Yes, so the
don't flip
inequalities
sign.
stay the same. So it becomes 8y
Oh,
is-
sorry, not equals.
is
Yeah.
less than
minus
24. So now you just do what that is, and that is y equals
Y is
less than minus 3.
Yeah.
You've got to remember that it is easy to think about it as equals, because it is an equals, more or less.
Yeah, in this case it doesn't change. This case it's a minus divided by a positive. That's not the same as dividing by a minus.
Yeah.
So you don't flip it there.
So that's fine. So, on to part B,
On to part B indeed.
where the page has changed. I'll
It's
go
on
back.
page 77.
It is very helpful. So now we have part B, which is x squared plus 4x take away 12 is greater than 0.
Oh. Alright.
Pretty exciting. So, like before, you could check if it goes through the x-axis. Well, yeah, how many times it does it?
Okay, so b squared is 16 minus 4 times a times c is going to be plus 48.
That's
So that's a plus.
That's a
by
plus.
miles.
so it can factorise.
It can, and two things that times together to equal that and add together to equal that is going to be minus 2 and plus 6.
Yeah. So those are our things. Now if we draw really quickly a little version of our quadratic graph.
it's a positive
It's
as
a
we've
positive.
done.
Yeah, and it's greater than again, so we will have our two areas, this side and this side.
Okay, so x is going to be greater than the bigger number, which in this case is 2. It's greater than 2.
Or less than our smallest number, which is minus 6.
And that's that.
That is that. It doesn't get that much harder than this.
No. At hardest, they sort of entwine it with some other stuff.
Yeah,
You
they
might
start
have surds.
Intersecting already surds, yeah.
So like this, rather than being simple numbers, would be 1 plus a third, and you'd have to do 1 plus x would be greater than 1 plus a third, and x would be less than something
Yeah,
else.
that sort of thing.
That's the hardest they will get, and that isn't that harder than this.
No, she just needs to remember your things, and like last time, this wasn't a very long video, was it, Wayne?
So I don't think we're going to bother with a summary.
I think it will.
But this is from an actual exam paper as usual.
As usual, old spec, but hasn't got any easier.
No. And if you have any more questions, as always, we offer to help answer those questions. We will send just to you, or even put on YouTube if lots of people send us the same question, us running through that question in more detail than we do now, because this is just
Yeah,
revision.
this is revision, so we'll do a full worked example of how to do it, and why,
Yes, so proper explanations
Proper
and
explanation.
detailed stuff if you need it.
if you need it. And you can contact us on Facebook.
You
Clever
type
Cracker
in
Squared.
literally Clever Cracker Squared,
All
not
in
the,
words.
not the bracket.
Yeah, no indice, just write it.
And there's a picture of me doing this,
And I think I'm doing something heroic also.
and that's how you know it's us.
Yep.
You can message us the questions there, or leave it in the comments below.
So, he's from Wayne Lack.
And he's been James Trevette.
Big Clever Dragon Squared.
And this has been Inequalities.
On to the
See
next
you at
topic.
Polynomials.
Oh yeah.